Hi, my name is Ed Bryce with CEBimagery.com and welcome to sunny Scottsdale. Today we're going to be doing some more tests with the Emotimo, which is a 2-axis motorized system for time-lapse and also video. And we're going to try to be interfacing that with a external intervolometer. In this case it's the Timelapse Plus. And we'll be working with the Canon 5D Mark III. So I'm going to go ahead and get set up and we'll film this process together and see what works and what doesn't. Okay, we're getting the Emotimo set up. A nice thing to do, one thing I've learned is that keeping this thing level is actually pretty important. So using an app I find on like the iPhone, which is sort of a spirit level. I don't know if you can see that, but you're able to put it down, adjust your base, and at least get your base pretty level. There's another app here that I like to use just so I can check what time the sun is setting. I use an app called Sun Seeker. So it gives you a place. I don't know if you can see that, if it's too blurry or what, but I basically know that the sun's going to set at about 6:11, and it's going to set basically right over here. And it's about 5:28 right now, so maybe we have time to do a quick test lapse and see what we can get going. Okay, this is basically the Timelapse Plus. It's an external intervolometer. It's pretty similar to the Promote control for those of you that are familiar with using that. It's a project on Kickstarter. It's actually a pretty cool little device. I really like it because it's low profile, lightweight, and what we'll try to do today is just get a basic time lapse going. There's a couple of things that we're going to be doing with the camera. We're going to be interfacing through the USB port on the camera. So there's an adapter that you can buy, and I'll put a link to that on the post here. It'll get you from the Timelapse Plus into the USB cable. I'm using the cable that actually came with the 5D Mark III. And then coming out of here is a 2.5 millimeter stereo cable. This can go into the auxiliary port for the Emotimo. And if we have time, we'll actually try to trigger the Emotimo also as a test through the PC sync cable on the 5D Mark III. Okay, so here's a good view. Again, you can see the Timelapse Plus out to USB. There's the USB cord. It comes right into the USB cable. I'm going to lift these flaps up a little bit. Comes right into the USB cable. I've got my PC sync cord coming down to the, let me focus this a little bit for you here, to the Emotimo, and that is, you can see if I can get in here a little bit. Oh, just trying to get a focus there for you. Okay, the Emotimo camera in. So this is the auxiliary in-out port. There's a slot for another motor. There's camera right there, PC sync cord again, and USB coming into the camera from the Timelapse Plus. It appears that the PC sync out is not working on this setup. I thought it would. It was waiting, and now it's displaying a message waiting for trigger. So I'm going to stop it, and I'm going to try the auxiliary out port from the Timelapse Plus. I've done that before, and that seemed to work, and we'll see if we can't get that going. Okay, you can see that I have the auxiliary cable on. That's a 2.5 millimeter stereo cable to 2.5 mil in here. That's now going into the auxiliary port, which is the I/O port on the Emotimo. Based on what the screen's telling me, it's triggering down. It's in its ramp up. 20 frames have been fired, so already we're getting some more positive feedback from the overall system. So it looks like, unless I have that PC port cable a little loose, I can try it on another test. It looks like that it just doesn't work with the PC cable out. Now the Emotimo instructions do say PC cable out for Timelapse Plus and the Promote, but based on my experience in this setup and configuration right here, it looks like that you've got to go auxiliary out of the Timelapse Plus and into the I/O port of the Emotimo. All right, it's getting pretty dark. It's probably a little noisy here, but we're doing bulb ramp now. We'll start out there. We'll try to move somewhere over here, and you can see we've got the Emotimo going. It's doing a ramp up right now. We've got the Timelapse Plus doing its bulb ramp deal. I'll see if I can just get that off here. Sort of shake the camera a little bit, but you probably won't be able to see that, but you can see it's in bulb ramp mode. It's triggering the Emotimo, and we shall see what happens. We have a little light sensor. There's a light sensor right, I think like right there. You see that? And that is how this thing's going to get a sense of light and dark using bulb and ISO. So it's always a little complex setup. I'm sure I could have missed something, but we'll see what happens. This is how you learn with this thing, and we'll let you know. So I'll try to post what I was able to capture. This is it. So this is Ed, CEBimagery.com, signing out from beautiful Scottsdale, Arizona on Lone Mountain. And it is Valentine's Day, so I don't think my wife is going to be very happy with me. Anyway, thanks a lot. Okay, this is Ed, CEB Imagery, and I just wanted to do a quick follow-on video. I'm out here on Black Mountain doing a lapse with the Emotimo, and if you recall earlier in the video, I said that I wasn't able to get any movement going PC sync cable into the camera port. And then I was talking to someone who's more knowledgeable than I am, and they said what you need to do with the PC sync cable is you got to run it. I'm going to try to get in here and see if I can show that to you. But you got to run it to the IO port and not the camera port. And I was actually able to get movement doing that. So it would appear that based on what the Emotimo instruction manual said, that definitely does work. So I just wanted to sort of follow up this and let you know it was definitely driving movement. So I have the Timelapse Plus going down to the Emotimo. I've got the USB cable coming into the camera right on the side there. You can see it from this angle. And then I've got the PC sync cable. Try to raise it, you probably can't see it because of the light. And the PC sync cable is coming down into the IO port of the Emotimo. And I was able to get a full move just like it needed to, and I was pretty happy with that. So again, from Black Mountain, sorry, this is Black Mountain. It's the highest density population of rattlesnakes anywhere in the US. Hopefully they're mostly asleep now. And signing off from Arizona. Take care, bye-bye. Okay, we're doing a test. I've been having a lot of trouble getting the Emotimo to move vertically when driven by the Timelapse Plus. And actually, let me sort of focus in on that here. And actually running the 2.5 to 2.5 cable from the Timelapse Plus into the Emotimo auxiliary in out. So what I'm doing now is based on the success of the test that I had yesterday with running the PC sync cable out of the camera. You can sort of see that cable going around. and running the PC sync into the auxiliary in out, I'm going to try to do a bramp with the Timelapse Plus and have the PC sync cable telling the Emotimo when to move, and see if I can have some success at trying to get this thing going vertical. Troubleshooting it, the Emotimo moves fine vertically when it's having the cable directly coming into its port. So, and I've tested the Timelapse Plus, and I know that I can do a bramp with the 2.5 cable going out of the Timelapse Plus out of that port there, and going into the auxiliary port in the Emotimo when it's mounted to a tripod. So what I'm hoping is that it has something to do with the PC sync cable, and that's what the Emotimo needs, and I can get a bramp going vertically here, being driven by the Timelapse Plus, and successful going up the ramp to about there. Okay, the lights dropped. So we just started the bramp here. I've got it in bulb mode. I've got the Timelapse Plus mounted to the top. Running the Timelapse USB into the camera USB. I've got a little bit of a ramp in of about 24 frames here. I don't know if I can get a focus on you for that. So it's counting down. We're going to do about a 2.5 hour bramp here in this test, assuming that I can get some vertical movement. After this ramp comes in, we got PC sync cable coming out of the Canon, going into the auxiliary port. If I can focus in on that for you guys there. Probably not the best. And then we've got the auxiliary stepper motor. This is a dynamic perception. I think it's a stage 1 dolly. We got the stepper motor right there that's going into the auxiliary motor port on the Emotimo. The primary motor, of course, drives the axis. And we sort of got everything set up here. And sun's starting to go down. So we'll see how that works. Come back out. I don't know if I'll have enough light to show you guys anything, but we'll see if we can get some movement in the next 20-30 minutes or so. Okay, it's Ed again. Last time I left you was last night, and we were doing a bramp and a vertical move driven by the Timelapse Plus. Unfortunately, that was not successful. I was even using the PC sync cable out to the Emotimo auxiliary port, and I just wasn't able to get a vertical lift going. I was able to get a vertical lift going when I had everything set up normal, using the normal Canon cable out to the camera in to the Emotimo, and was able to do a vertical move just fine. I did have to change the power setting for the auxiliary motor to make sure that it held tension during the lift, but again, was not successful. And my only thought was that maybe the Timelapse Plus, based on the power setting for the auxiliary engine, somehow that sync or messaging just not getting through. So I'm not an engineer by any means. I'm just trying to eliminate possible variables. What I'm going to do today is, right now I'm just going through a normal test. I've got the normal camera cable from the Canon 5D Mark III. Let me see if I can get a focus in there for you. There we go. And just have that coming out of the cable there. It's just going into the camera in. Sort of move the camera a little bit this way. It's going to the camera in. Just a normal move. And so what I want to do with this test is I want to try to see if I can get a bramp move going on a horizontal, to see if it had anything to do with the vertical position that I had. The you know, this is the dynamic perception stage 1 slider here. So I'm just doing the baseline test right here, and then we'll set up for a bramp. And while I get set up for that, I'm going to run last night's bramp. Even though it was stationary, I'm going to run that for you. You can get another sense of a bramp move with the Timelapse Plus. Again, I cut it short because it wasn't lifting, but you'll definitely get a sense to see how the sort of the day tonight worked. So when we come back, we'll be set up for another bramp test, this time going X to Y. Thanks. Okay, we just now started the bramp. We waited for the light to get to a point where it's ready to go, about 1/10 of a second. We're on F28. We've got the Timelapse Plus driving it for us, and we've got USB camera control going into the Canon. We've got PC sync port coming out, going into the auxiliary I/O port of the Emotimo. We've got our power cable, we've got our aux motor, our primary motor, everything's sort of set up. We've set it for about a 2.5 hour bramp, and we'll see if we can't get some movement with this. Again, I'm on a static ramp time of about 50 frames, so we'll just sort of let that go, and we'll see what happens. I noticed that in yesterday's bramp, and you'll see it too, or you should have seen it, is that the Emotimo primary motor was still going through its move. So it was really something to do with the Emotimo going into the auxiliary motor and somehow telling it to move. It just wasn't going forward. But I know that the Emotimo worked in a vertical move because I did a baseline test. I know it works in a horizontal move here with the baseline test. So we know that the Timelapse Plus definitely works on the tripod, driving it and bramping it. So we'll see if we can get some movement going here, and hopefully if light permits, I'll be back in a little bit. Thanks. Okay, and the last bit of light that we have here, it looks like we are achieving some success. I am detecting movement. Of course, I don't know if I have that SMS set properly here, but we'll find out soon enough tonight. But I have achieved movement. We've got the full bramp going. It's driving the Emotimo. It is moving. And again, the auxiliary motor was set to shoot accuracy, and of course the primary motor is set to shoot accuracy. In last night's test, the primary was shoot accuracy, and the auxiliary was programmed. Now those are the recommended settings for a vertical move. So it looks like we definitely have movement going. So it looks like the only trouble that I've been able to see with this integration of the Timelapse Plus and the test that I've been running over the last week or so is just vertical move. Other than that, looks like that it's working. The only other change that I've made here, I should probably test at some point, would be to see if I can get the 2.5 millimeter cable out of the Timelapse Plus driving the platform here. But I am using the PC sync cable. Again, that's the recommended setting. Well, that doesn't work on the tripod, so I don't know that it would work here. But it looks like with the PC sync cable going into the auxiliary port of the Emotimo, and then the USB cable to USB camera in, driving the camera from the Timelapse Plus. We got the light sensor on the Timelapse Plus, and of course the ramping program, and we're getting a 3-axis move. So the only other thing I could think that maybe I fouled up on was just not setting the intervals properly. We'll see what happens when we process it. So as soon as this gets done, about 2.5 hours from now, we'll process it up and load it in the video. All right, so thanks a lot. And again, if anyone has any tips or tricks, please share it in the comments. And I just wanted to try to get this integration working and see how far that I could take it. Thanks a lot, and have a good one wherever you may be.